Hey, welcome to this new video about DLCs in Godot and all the pitfalls and everything around it. This video is about how to automatically update these settings. Like I showed you, the Corgi DLC is selected manually here, but if I create a new file in the Corgi DLC, the Super Corgi, we will see that this is not updated here. So here we would have to manually do this. This is annoying. We don't want this. We want to have an automated process. If you have solutions for that, write them in the comments. I could not find anything. So what we do is I have two things. We will look at the DLC manager later, but there's just one thing I did here. It's a little dictionary, and it just links the DLC export name. This is the names we typed in the export dialog as a name for the DLC export set preset. And then this is just the folder, yeah. It's just linking the name of the export preset to the actual folder in the project. That's the only thing we need. And then we have the CFG manager, and this is the actually work here. So when I open this, let me show you this. And then in the project settings, all these managers are loaded here. So we have a file manager, which is responsible for just returning all the files in a folder as a little list. Then the DLC manager, it sets up this little dictionary I just showed you. And then comes the CFG manager. And so what it does is basically it opens this export preset, because when we look in here, we see, here's our DLC Corgi, that's the export preset name, and then we have this export file list. It's all the files. And what we see is that, oh no, our super Corgi is missing. There's just a normal Corgi. And what happens is when we open the, when we have the CFG manager here, what it's doing is that it opens the export preset in your project. It's just a file, it's always there. By the way, I stole it from here, so check it out. I will link it in the video description. So we go through all the different sections in this config. It has different sections. And then what we're doing here, this is the file manager thing. We will look at this later. But it basically gets all files from a folder. And here, this is this little dictionary I showed you where we link the export name to the actually folder in your project. So what we are getting here is, hey, give me the DLC folder for the current for the current DLC export name, and yeah, so give me all the files. And then basically here we if it's the correct preset, then we set the export files, this is this file list we saw, to the DLC files, which was returned by this. Oh man, it's a bit convoluted right now. But yes, we basically just, and then we save it. So I hope you could just see this. Actually, I noticed that my video recording might have cut off this part here on the right, but it's really just getting the correct folder for the current preset, and then gets all the files and then writes it into the export file. So let me just check something, because okay, sorry, it was something different for the CFG manager. I actually ignore that in the project directory. We only want to put in there the PNGs and the tres and so on and so on. But if you look at the actual file structure in here, you will see that there are always these .import things. And those are excluded when we update these lists. You can have a look in this by downloading the whole thing from GitHub. You have everything in here. And then this is a bit wonky actually, but I couldn't know how to do it better. This is my main game. It's a little file, which the most important part for us is this one. If I start the game and it has the feature editor, so it's not the real build, then I actually execute this function we just looked at. It's a bit workaroundy, but for me it works good enough right now. So whenever I start the game, this list is updated now. And we can actually see that now the export preset is updated. I can reload it, and then here we should now see the super Corgi. Yes, boop. There's the Super Corgi. And one thing to be careful about, when you open now the export dialog, it is still not checked here. Because the export dialog, even though the export CFG is completely updated and super cool, the export dialog did not notice yet. And when you made a mistake, like I did, to open this window, it will now overwrite the export preset with the old version actually. So when we reload this, we will see that the Super Corgi is gone. Only the normal Corgi is there. So what you can do is you start the game basically, and now the list will be up to date. Here we see the Super Corgi again. Boop, there it is. And what you could do is either not open the export dialog at all, because why? I mean, personally, I don't do it. I have the setup done, and then when I export it, I start my batch file, so no reason to open it at all. But if you want to be very safe, you could just reload the current project. Yeah, it's a little bit wonky, but at least it works. So this is my little workaround to automatically keep this list safe or up to date. Here now in the export settings, when we look at the Corgi, now the Super Corgi is also checked. So personally, what I would love is either to check a folder and not the files, and then Godot would do this automatically, or maybe like a filter for include only everything below this folder, and then you can type here Corgi /star or something. I don't know. Would be nice, but yeah, this workaround works surprisingly good actually, as long as you don't open this export window. But I start the game so often to play that my game, the asset list is always up to date, so it's not a problem at all. Yes, so I hope you found it useful, and now we will start to talk about the actual DLC system. All the videos before have been other stuff, but now we will start. So see you in the next video.